Hello, hello. Welcome back to yet another match featuring VVV's Aspire team in a team league. This is the underrated team league. We have a pause. And in the last game, we saw sMi win. They defeated Kai. It was sad. I shed 5 rivers of tears. The oceans all rose about 0.0001 meters. Worldwide because of all the tears I shed, and there were travel advisories issued about Squall, sending forth a squall of tears. And if you're like, a squall of tears, that's your name, well, look up squall in the dictionary. It's an actual nautical term. And for all of you out there going, you named yourself after a Final Fantasy character, how lame? No, I didn't. I named myself for a nautical term, which is better somehow. Anyways, so let's get into this game. We do have Poser stepping in for VVV, going up against Aiden. Yes. So, gonna be a TVP. Poser is scouting out in the wrong direction, but unless he does something weird and decides to go up here, he will come down here and see Aiden in his next pass. And yeah, you can actually see the rally points. Or you could have a moment ago. Anyway, Poser, chrono boosts and probes, so don't, yeah, so he's chrono boosting probes. Not really sure what I can say about that in terms of this analysis and fun things. There's really not too much to analyze at this point. Well, Aiden hasn't taken gases, so I think it would be safe to assume a 1-rack gasless fast expand. That's pretty typical against Protoss at this point. And, wow, the SCV getting out there right in time to defend its friend. And it looks like he's going to scout out with that as well. For his part, Poser is building another pylon. The most exciting and dynamic thing that has ever happened in any game ever. I'm even doing the weird camera thing. Just look at those buildings. Don't they look so weird from the side? I will never get over that. Holy crap, simulators are messed up, man. Dude. Barracks, I think, look really weird. All the Terran buildings look absolutely funky, man. Dude. Yeah. Yeah, let's see here. Cybercore. Pretty typical. And, yeah, there's the expansion out of Aiden. So, exactly as expected and planned. We'll see a bunker go down before too much longer, as that will allow him to remain safe against any stalkers that may poke it their way up and try to poke their way to victory. And I just got an email saying that Day 9's Daily just went live, and while I wish I could watch it, I'm here to cast for you. Yeah. Oh, man. And that actually reminds me that I'm really, really far behind in watching my Day 9 dailies, and I don't really watch all of them. I don't have the time. But I always try to make a point of watching the Fun Day Monday just because they're so entertaining. But I don't think I've watched one in like a month. Because, yeah. I'm going to blame that on the GSL, actually. I have a GSL Season 4 ticket, and I've been enjoying that tremendously. If you've never watched the GSL, it is, well, you probably know what it is. But on the off chance that you don't know what it is a Starcraft 2 league in Seoul, South Korea, and it is unbelievably good. Some of the best players in the world are there, and the production values are honestly out of this world. Like, it's so crisp, so clean. They have these map intros where they show like cool, like zoomed in shots of different features of the maps, and oh, it's so cool. I can't get enough of it. And that and Tasteless and Artosis are absolutely hilarious. Yeah. So in getting up to scout, will he see that there is an expansion? Yes, he does. He knows that that's there. The SCV dies, but it does confirm for him that Poser is indeed expanding and not doing like a 4-gate. Although a 4-gate would have hit by this point, actually. Yeah, so not going to be any kind of crazy all-in. And Aiden's just going to be nice and secure, get another bunker down that keeps him very safe. This stalker in flip-out mode. Oh man, that makes it look like my camera is dancing, man. Just juking back and forth. This is the dance that the cool guys do. The ones who, they don't know how to dance, so they just kind of bob back and forth and somehow look really cool while doing it, even though they're not actually like dancing properly. It's like when Commander Shepard in Mass Effect dances. I don't know if you've seen it, but anytime Commander Shepard dances, it's horrible. He just kind of like shuffles and moves back and forth. But since he's Commander Shepard, he gets away with it. He does what he wants, man. Oh, those games are so good. Me and my wife have been playing through them again. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to play through the first one again because our 360 red ringed. And on principle, I refuse to give Microsoft more money if they sold me a defective product in the first place. And yes, I know there's a warranty, but it was out of warranty because it's actually one of the oldest 360s around. Like, we got it a week after launch. But it red rings, so we haven't been able to play through the first one. But we played through the second one on the PS3, and we're almost through the third one again because we want to see the extended cut ending stuff. And I'm sure there's a bunch of you now where you've actually never played Mass Effect and don't even care, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. Half of you probably just X'd out of the video right when I start talking about something that wasn't Starcraft. And that makes me a little bit sad inside, but I'll move on. And what do you really talk about at this point in the game? I mean, Poser, he's going Colossus. Biggest surprise ever, guys. This is a little bit interesting. Getting a Twilight Council. But that's probably just so that he can continue his weapon upgrades later. And he's getting armor first, which I find a little bit interesting with him going Colossus. But that said, he is throwing down another Forge, so he will be able to do weapons as well. And then Chrono Boost them as well. And honestly, I feel that Chrono Boosting upgrades is the best use of Chrono Boost in the game. With the possible exception of Chrono Boosting, like your first few Colossi. And anyone that knows me knows that I would say that because I'm always going on and on and on about how upgrades are so good and amazing, and everyone should always get upgrades no matter what, except in really specific scenarios where you're a pro player, you know exactly what you're doing, but you're not pro, so be quiet and make upgrades. Yeah. So Poser is expanding as well, getting his third up, and he does have his third down, but hasn't moved it over yet. Breaking down the rocks now, so he will be able to do that soon. But for now, just keeping his base, producing more SCVs. And yeah, both players just playing very passive, very macro-orientated. Aiden macroing like a beast, actually. He's well ahead of Poser in terms of supply. So, I'm feeling a tiny bit concerned for Poser. He is getting a Templar Archive, so that's definitely something that's slowing down his unit build-up. And it looks like Aiden is pushing out now. Does he have any Vikings yet? He has 2 on the way, so that we'll be able to meet up with his army in a real hurry, because they can fly, and so they're faster. And Poser really doesn't have very much at all. I'm definitely feeling concerned for him. Charge is on the way. It's not done yet. And if Aiden continues pushing, he will get there before charge finishes. Oh dear, this is a scary point for Poser. Aiden is loading up a drop, so this might actually just be some multi-pronged drop aggression, which I feel is less threatening to Poser at this point than a full-out attack. And since Aiden has split up this army, I actually feel like Poser has a better chance of dealing with it. Charge is almost done. Oh, but it's not going to finish quite in time for this. Aiden is pulling back, though, and charge will finish in just a second. That will definitely help out. Here comes the drop from Aiden. He's going to push up the front at the same time. Poser is going to be forced to manage his forces, potentially split up his army. Oh, the drop's just going to go straight into the main. Poser still holding at the front. Looks like he wants to be able to deal with the main army. Factory dropping down, intercepting some zealots. Aiden dropping in the main, killing a bunch of probes. Hasn't targeted any tech yet. And pull back his main army. And a bunch of zealots warping in. How many probes did he get? Looks like he got 5 or 6. Oh, feedback's going down on the medevac. They don't kill it, though. And that looked like more than one feedback, which is a little bit wasteful. But it does allow Poser to clean this up. Because, well, medevacs with no energy, they can't heal. And they also explode when they're shot. Oh, but he's pushing up the front now. Cannons buying some time. Guardian Shield going down. And these zealots are going to be super duper durable with +1 armor and Guardian Shield. And it looks like Aiden's going to fall back for the time being. And Poser's doing a nice job pushing him back. Aiden is macroing pretty decently back at home, though. And he does have this third. Getting the 4th as well. And why are the supplies so different? Oh, wow. Okay. I was just like going like, wow, Poser went pretty toe-to-toe in the army engagement. That's because Aiden is 20 food ahead in terms of workers. Wow, that's a big difference. But Poser is doing a bit of a scary push here. Aiden has quite a few Vikings. But Poser actually only has one Colossus, and he didn't even get range for that. So that Colossus was made to fake out Aiden and make him, you know, have to build a whole bunch of Vikings. And now he has switched into, now Poser has switched into Charge Lot Archon. And Aiden might struggle against this a little bit. He is kiting pretty decently against all those charge lots. And the Viking's actually going to land to try to deal with things. Don't know how well that'll work out for him. But Aiden knows what's up now. We'll probably see a Ghost Academy go down before too much longer. And never mind, it's actually down already and Ghosts are on the way. So I feel like Poser has a good window of opportunity to deal damage, but it's closing very rapidly. Once those Ghosts are in full effect and they can EMP this blanket EMP this army, Poser's going to be struggling, man. EMPs are really good against Zealots because Zealots, you know, they're small. They clump up really, really tightly. And so Poser looks like he's just going to fall back. How's he doing on the Harvesters? He's catching up. He's not as far behind as he was before. But I'm definitely concerned for him because, you know, Aiden is just going to be able to outproduce him. And wow, Aiden's actually been trading really, really inefficiently. But he can afford to do that with the sort of economy lead that he has. I mean, look at that difference. He's almost mining, you know, like something like 75% more than his opponent. That is brutal. I mean, I know part of that is because of Mules. Mules so imba OP. OMG. This forward pylon does get scouted by the Valiant SCV, the Zealot charge forwards. My life for ire! And by life for ire, I mean, you know, dying instantaneously. Without really doing any permanent damage. I'm very sad. Zealots, man, they just don't get a break. As soon as they have charge, they are like fire and forget cruise missiles. When that cruise missile hits, like it either hits the target and does something, or gets shot down and can't do anything. And I'm really distracted right now because my wife is watching a GIF of some guy in an Ezio costume doing like free running. And if you don't know what free running is, it's the thing you do in Assassin's Creed, where you run around on rooftops and jump from rooftop to rooftop, and it looks really cool. That is so distracting and cool. Wherever that guy is, he's actually got to be like really fit. Like, that's really, really hard. Because I totally know from experience, okay? Like, once I jumped from this building, there's one building, it's like 10 stories high, right? There's one that's like next to it, but it's not like right next to it, it's like at a diagonal to it. And that one's like 8 stories high, and like, you know, I jumped from the 10-story building, landed on the 8-story building, did a total clutch like shoulder roll, came out of it, and I was fine, but it was really hard. And I totally just made all that up. I've never done that. I've never actually been a very athletic person, to be honest. I did ski when I was younger, but the one thing is, though, like, skiing is really, really hard on the knees, and I have always had horrible knees. Like, they're so weak. They've always been really flimsy. Oh, man. Yeah, so, yeah, I used to ski when I was younger, but my body is such that I'm really bad at skiing. Poser, wow, actually casting a decent number of Aiden units very much out of position, and he's just kind of retreating. But that said, he's pulling Poser's entire army out of position, and he might be able to get a snipe on this base here. Poser, though, pulling back into position. His army is going to be arriving a little bit piecemeal, so that does give Aiden an advantage. This Colossi, ridiculously exposed, dies instantly. And Aiden dealing quite a bit of damage without taking too much. That said, though, he is losing a bunch of medevacs. And I feel that exchange wasn't really worth it for him, especially with all those units he lost up here. He lost a lot of stuff. And Poser didn't really lose much. Let's take a look at the unit counts. Wow, Aiden doesn't really have a big army at all. He has so many SCVs. Dude, he has another base here. This guy's a macro beast. And oh no. There's ghosts here. They're invisible. And Poser has no way of seeing them. This will know we'll decloak in a few moments and then we'll die instantly. But, wow, Poser getting into a decent position here, splitting up the army a little bit. And I don't know if Aiden has enough muscle to deal with this. I mean, his economy has been amazing all game, but he's his army engagements have been really poor, actually. That said, though, Poser's army is starting to evaporate a little bit. He's lost the Colossi. And yeah, he needs to pull back now. Good decision. Regroup a little bit. And yeah. Run away, Poser. Just run away. Wow, I was silent there for like 5 or 10 seconds. Dude, that's like the cardinal sin of casting, being quiet for more than like half a second. Half a second's okay, because, you know, I unfortunately am human. I do have to breathe from time to time. But, you know, other than breathing, you should be talking 100% of the time. Aiden doing the thing that's in style right now, just making a completely obnoxious number of orbital commands. And wow, Poser struggling with the macro just a little bit. And, not quite sure what they were talking about. Oh, you know what? It could be that Poser, I think, yeah, looking at his gas, I think he didn't have all his workers in gas for quite a while, which is definitely a huge blunder, especially for Protoss. You know what I mean? If you're Zerg, you can sort of get away with that by just making trillions of lings and just Zerging your opponent, which doesn't always work, but sometimes does. But Protoss, like, you need gas. Gas is like the backbone of your army. But Poser pushing out once again, and Aiden has a small-ish army, but it looks like he won't really have a way to deal with this because, I mean, he's got ghost-free MPs, that's great, but what's he going to do against these Colossus? He doesn't have any Viking. Aiden, though, has a very nice spread. The Colossus not being quite as effective as they could be, but Poser, wow, just kind of crashing through this army. All the Zealots, or most of them, have evaporated, but it looks like Poser might just push straight into the main. And for this amazing, even though Aiden has this amazing economy, if he loses his production buildings, he's going to be in trouble. That missile turret getting some shots off on the Colossi. And the Observer, too. Wow. I'm astonished that thing didn't die. That Marauder, very, very unhappy with what boot camp led to, which was instantaneous death. Ghost Academy going to go down. I don't know if there's a backup one, but that could very well put a complete stop to Ghost production. And Poser, is he going to go straight up into the main, or is he going to go for other bases? At this point, I feel like going up into the main would be a good decision, because Aiden has a lot of bases. He can actually totally afford to lose this base. Now, that said, he is going to be able to pick off some barracks. That's a good thing. But I feel like Poser might be leaving himself a little bit open to a counterattack there. I don't know. It isn't bad, though. Looks like Aiden's going to try to flank around, split his army up into 2 chunks, but I don't know if he really has enough. He's losing so much. He's been trading so inefficiently all game. I mean, look at those graphs. And by graphs, I mean charts. But look at those charts. Like that, you would think blue is a Zerg. He's getting a nice flank here, though, but this army getting carved up. The Colossi quite exposed, though. And they might get killed off by these forces. Nope, never mind. It's fine. Don't worry about a thing. Those Colossus have 3-3, and they are murdering everything inside. And, yeah, Aiden definitely in a very big spot of trouble right now. And at this point, Poser can crash into the main and just camp the production. And, yeah, that's it. GG, well played by Poser. Aiden with a ridiculous economy lead all game, but Poser with the very superior army engagements. Manages to trade with kind of obnoxious efficiency, to be honest, and takes the win. So the score is now 1-1 in this best of 9 between VVV and sMi. Thanks for watching. Join me for Game 3.